Most people walk out of Honey Bunch wondering if Diana actually forgave Homer in those final saltwater-soaked moments, or if she was just playing a long game of psychological chess. But you're asking the wrong question. The real horror isn't whether she forgives him, it's that she has been fundamentally rewired to need him. Honey Bunch isn't a story about a medical miracle, it's a Gothic sci-fi autopsy of the sunk cost fallacy applied to human souls. Homer didn't save his wife, he curated a biological monument to his own inability to grieve. By the time we reach the final frame, the Diana we're watching isn't a person, she's a successful software patch. And the beach scene is just the final stress test of her programming. If you haven't seen the movie yet, turn back now. We're diving into the deep end of the cloning tanks, and there are spoilers everywhere, and you've been warned. The film opens with what looks like a poetic suicide pact, but Sims Fewer and Mancinelli are playing with your expectations of Gothic romance. In reality, this is the director showing us the alpha build. Homer isn't trying to drown her, he's trying to see if the current iteration can withstand the sensory input of the natural world. It's a calibration test. The trauma center is less a hospital and more of a high-anxiety taxidermy shop for the psyche. Take the portraits of Joan, Dr. Tréphine's late wife. A standard horror flick uses these for jump scares. Honey Bunch uses them as a blueprint. Notice the soft-focused 70s aesthetic. The crash zooms and the hazy lighting aren't just a stylistic choice to mimic Don't Look Now. They represent the memory transplant itself. Fuzzy, distorted, and hyper-focused on specific, idealized details while ignoring the background rot. The introduction of Joseph and Josephina is our first major clue that the medical aspect of this facility is a total sham. Joseph is the failed version of Homer. He represents the raw, ugly side of devotion, the side that can't hide the seams. While Homer is busy playing doting husband in a dreamlike haze, Joseph is staring at a daughter who is clearly glitching. This is a structural foreshadowing. The film is showing us the trash bin of the Retrouvailles process before it reveals that Diana herself is the result of a similar recycling bin. Homer's constant disappearing acts and his hushed whispers with Farrah, played by the predictably unsettling Kate Dickey, aren't just suspicious spouse tropes. He's literally checking the patch notes. When Diana finds those reports with words like anomalies and controlled environment, the movie stops being a thriller and starts being a critique of toxic male entitlement. Homer didn't sell their house and furniture to save her. He sold them to purchase a version of her that wouldn't argue about aging. He's not a hero, he's a customer who refuses to accept a faulty product. The unwelcome truths Diana starts remembering about their argument before the crash are the most important breadcrumbs in the script. They were fighting about the death of passion. Homer's solution to a relationship losing its spark wasn't therapy, it was a literal factory reset. The third act of Honey Bunch shifts from psychological haze into a literal and figurative inferno. When Diana 5 discovers the reject room, the movie stops being a puzzle and starts being a slaughterhouse. Let's clear up the clone confusion. The Diana we've been following is Diana 5. The real Diana died 18 months ago. Homer, unable to process the finality of a car crash, bought into Dr. Tréphine's Retrouvailles program. This isn't just cloning, it's a memory transplant service. But memories are volatile. The women Diana finds in the facility are her predecessors. Failed builds. One has the motor skills but no memory. One has the memories but is deformed. And then there's the short-tempered one, who is essentially a personified trauma response. And there's Joseph, realizing his daughter Josephina can never be fixed, decides to delete the entire hard drive. He burns the facility down, choosing a suicide pact over a lifetime of caring for a glitched child. It's the ultimate act of nihilistic mercy. Then in the reject room, we see the thematic collision of the film. Homer claims his actions are sublimely romantic. He calls it devotion, but the short-tempered clone, the one who retained only the bad memories, sees it for what it is, an abomination. When she stabs Homer with the oxygen stand, she isn't just a monster, She is the physical manifestation of the real Diana's resentment that Homer refused to let her rest. You think the movie ends with Diana 5 choosing to forgive Homer. I think the movie ends with Diana 5 becoming Dr. Tréphine. Now look at the evidence. The Joan letters reveal that Tréphine's wife killed herself because she felt constantly monitored and caged. Tréphine was trying to save Joan, just like Homer was trying to save Diana. By the end, Tréphine abandons her life's work to save her papers, showing that the process became more important than the person. Some viewers on the Shudder boards are convinced that the beach scene is a slow burn execution. They argue that Diane 5 isn't teasing him when she holds him underwater. She's practicing for the day she finally lets go. There's a niche theory that Homer himself is a Homer 2, created by Tréphine to ensure that Diana experiment had a constant, devoted variable. It explains why he's so single-minded. He's programmed to be. And rumor has it there's a deleted director's cut ending where Diana 5 doesn't save Homer. Instead, she finds the blank man and starts the cycle over again, becoming the new director of a rebuilt facility. It would have leaned harder into the sci-fi, but the current ending is much more grounded in the horror of marriage. Honey Bunch plays fair, but it's a cruel game. Every crash zoom and flickering light in the first act was a literal representation of the memory transplant technology. The script didn't cheat, it just assumed you'd be as blinded by the romance as Homer was. It is deeply, wonderfully unsatisfying. If you wanted a hero's journey where Diana burns the system down and escapes, you're in the wrong movie. This is a tragedy about how we use love to justify the most horrific forms of control. The ending is earned because it stays true to the director's cynical view of codependency. Homer didn't get his wife back, he got a mirror that's been trained to tell him he's a savior. And Diana, she didn't get her life back, she got a life sentence with her captor. But what was your take on the ending of Honey Bunch? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing. If you want to support the channel a little further, hit that join button down below. You can join our YouTube memberships for only 99 cents. If you have a friend or family member who was confused by the ending or even the purpose of this movie, send them this video. And I'll see you next time.